She didn't just change her life. She redesigned it. The face, the body, the lifestyle, even the way the world says her name. Every few months, she disappears, then reappears somewhere else. Paris, Dubai, the coast, upcountry villages, luxury hotels, private flights, always on tour, always moving. And that raises a question many people are afraid to ask out loud. Why does she travel so much? Why does she rarely stay in one place for long? And what exactly is she running toward or away from? To some, she's the most beautiful woman Kenya has ever produced. A walking headline, a living brand. To others, she is controversial, too bold, too loud, too unapologetic. But here's the truth most people miss. Beauty was never her final destination. It was just the entry point. Before the fame, there was hunger. Before the filters, there was survival. Before the luxury, there was a girl who understood one thing very early. The world does not reward silence. She learned how attention works, how desire works, how perception can be turned into power. And slowly, deliberately, she evolved from unknown to video vixen, from vixen to socialite, from socialite to brand, from brand to business. But with every evolution came a new label, a new rumor, a new theory. People whispered, they judged, they assumed. Yet while they were busy talking, she was building something far bigger than looks. Because this story is not really about beauty. It's about control. Control of image. Control of narrative. Control of money. And behind the tours, the captions, the confidence, and the smile is a woman who understands the game better than most. This is not the story you think you know. This is the evolution of a socialite into a self-made empire. And this is where it truly begins. Today, she stands as one of Kenya's most financially successful female celebrities, with an estimated combined net worth of approximately 325 million Kenyan shillings, a figure built through branding, business, and relentless self-reinvention. This wealth did not arrive quietly. Luxury mansions valued at over 60 million shillings sit in Nairobi's upscale neighborhoods, reflecting a life of comfort, privacy, and control over her environment. Her garage tells a similar story. Range Rovers, Mercedes-Benz machines. And in July 2025, a brand new Range Rover Vogue worth roughly 18 million shillings, purchased as a personal milestone and unveiled after a brief social media disappearance. A silent but powerful statement of independence. But the real engine behind the lifestyle isn't the cars. It's business. From a thriving beauty parlor to fashion ventures that generate millions annually, her income flows from enterprises that exist far beyond social media likes. Ad brand endorsements, international appearances, and sponsored content that can earn hundreds of thousands per campaign. And the picture becomes clear. This isn't just luxury. It's strategy. But this success didn't come from privilege. It came from pressure and transformation. Her rise began quietly, long before the fame, before the controversy, before the world knew her name. She entered the public eye as a video vixen, catching attention not just for beauty, but for confidence that refused to apologize. But attention came with a price. Public scrutiny intensified. Criticism grew louder. Her body became a topic. Her choices became debates. And then came the transformation that would change everything. She chose to rebuild herself, physically, emotionally, and financially, stepping into a version of herself that the public couldn't ignore and couldn't control. With each appearance, she became more polarizing. With every headline, more powerful. Instead of shrinking under judgment, she leaned into it. She monetized attention, built a brand around boldness, and turned criticism into currency. Soon, social media wasn't just a platform. It was a marketplace, and she was selling confidence. But just when it seemed she had mastered fame, life introduced a new chapter, one that money couldn't prepare her for. Motherhood changed her. She welcomed her first child, Asia Brown, in October 2021, a moment that softened her public image and revealed a more intimate side of her life. In 2023, she welcomed her second child, a son. Her relationship with musician Brown Mazo eventually came to an end, but not in chaos. Instead, the two chose a path of co-parenting, publicly emphasizing stability, presence, and emotional balance for their children. She has often spoken about ensuring her kids always have a parent around, whether she is traveling, working, or simply taking a moment to breathe. Beyond the cameras, she has shared deeply human moments, visiting her 97-year-old grandmother in Kakamega, cooking traditional meals, reconnecting with roots, and reminding audiences that beneath the glamour, there is still home. Still, the public never stopped watching and judging. Despite what many people believe, fashion has never been outsourced in her world. There is no hidden stylist pulling the strings, no creative director standing behind the curtain, because every look, every silhouette, every bold choice begins with her, shaped by instinct, intention, and an understanding that fashion is not decoration. It is language. Long before captions went viral and photos sparked debate, she was already using clothing as a form of expression, a way to speak without explaining herself, choosing colors, cuts, and confidence as tools to control the narrative before anyone else could. And while critics argue about aesthetics, she has always been focused on something far more practical: results. She has said it plainly, without apology, that while people gossip, she deposits. While timelines speculate, businesses expand, and while stories circulate, numbers quietly grow in the background, unseen but undeniable. What many don't realize is that behind the glamorous photos and luxury captions is a deeply strategic mind, one that understands attention as currency and controversy as fuel, not distraction. Few people also know that luxury cars were never her obsession. She has openly admitted that she flies more than she drives, that movement, not possession, is what truly matters to her, and yet she chose to own high-end vehicles anyway. Not out of necessity, but symbolism. Ownership, to her, is a statement, a message that says control matters more than convenience, that success should be visible, even if it isn't always used. Another misunderstood truth lies in her captions, the confidence, the boldness, the unapologetic tone that often triggers strong reactions online. Many mistakes it for arrogance. Others call it provocation. But those words are not ego. They are armor. Armor forged through years of public judgment, relentless commentary, and strangers attempting to define her worth based on appearance alone, long before they ever understood her work ethic, her discipline, or her sacrifices. Behind the camera, she is far more private than people assume. Selective with trust, protective of her peace, and intentional about what parts of her life are shared and what remains sacred. Even motherhood, often placed under public scrutiny, has become another space where she refuses to follow expectations, choosing instead to define balance on her own terms, proving that softness and strength can exist side by side. Perhaps the most surprising fact of all is that her confidence was never natural. It was built, reinforced through survival, rejection, and reinvention, strengthened each time the world tried to reduce her to stereotype. She did not wake up fearless. She became fearless through criticism, through transformation, through learning that approval is optional, but self-belief is not. And while many still argue about how she arrived here, one truth remains difficult to deny. Everything you see was intentional. Every evolution, every risk, every reinvention. Because this story was never about being liked. It was about being free. Her story isn't about perfection. It's about permission. Permission to change, to rebuild, to enjoy the rewards of hard work without apology. From a young woman navigating judgment to a mother, entrepreneur, and self-made millionaire, her journey proves one thing: power doesn't always whisper. Sometimes it arrives in heels. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like this video, subscribe for more cinematic African celebrity documentaries, and tell us in the comments, do you think her success is misunderstood or exactly what she worked for? Because while they talk, she deposits. Money bag.